Carlos, jobless and disheartened for months, received an unexpected phone call one Thursday. It was a former colleague launching a new company, offering Carlos a partnership, a better opportunity than anything he'd ever had. Fernanda's depression began to lift, slowly but surely. She started to smile again, showing affection to her family. Hope returned to her future. The nightmares that plagued them all vanished completely. Pets roamed freely throughout the house. Visitors began commenting on the wonderful, peaceful energy they felt. In 6 months, their entire family situation was transformed. Within a year, they were considered one of the most harmonious and prosperous families in their community. But what truly impressed Padre Pio was his decision to investigate the history of the house where the Miller family lived. What he uncovered left him speechless and definitively confirmed the power of the practice he had taught. The house had been the scene of devastating family tragedies for decades. The first owner committed suicide in the master bedroom after discovering a marital betrayal. The next family lost 2 children in strange accidents within the house. A third family completely self-destructed due to financial problems and addictions that mysteriously developed after moving in. The house sat empty for almost 3 years before being sold to the Millers at a price far below market value. During that time, it had accumulated massive negative energies that literally infected any family that tried to live there. It was then that I understood, Padre Pio later recounted, that they weren't simply facing personal problems. They were being attacked by the same forces that had destroyed previous families. But the story of the Miller family spread discreetly through the Catholic community. Other families facing similar problems sought out Padre Pio to learn the same practice. And the results were consistently impressive. In 5 years, over 300 families in the region had consecrated their homes following Padre Pio's instructions, and all, without a single exception, reported significant improvements in family harmony, financial stability, and domestic peace. This leads us to a conclusion that Padre Pio always emphasized with absolute conviction. Our houses are not merely physical structures of brick and cement. They are spiritual repositories that absorb and maintain the vibrations of everything that happened there before us and everything that is happening now. Violent arguments leave spiritual marks on the walls that persist for years. Marital betrayals impregnate the environment with vibrations of pain and distrust that affect future residents. Deep depression settles like an invisible fog, contaminating every room. Even prolonged sadness is registered in the house's energetic field as a spiritual stain that influences everyone who lives there. This is why some houses, even beautiful and comfortable, never transmit real peace. They carry the emotional weight of the past. They carry the spiritual scars of past family dramas that continue to influence the present. Holy water, applied to the corners according to Padre Pio, doesn't just protect against future external influences. It purifies accumulated past energies deeply and definitively. It's like a complete spiritual reset of the entire environment. Each drop of holy water, he used to say with poetic conviction, is like a tear from Christ himself falling upon that space. And where the tears of Christ touch, all darkness dissolves completely. All weight dissipates forever. Every scar heals permanently. But there's something even more profound and transformative about this practice. Something that goes beyond mere protection. Padre Pio taught that when we consecrate our homes in this complete way, we aren't just protecting a physical space. We are creating a spiritual sanctuary where our family can grow spiritually without any negative interferences. We are establishing an environment where God's presence manifests more intensely and constantly than anywhere else. A properly consecrated house he declared with absolute authority, is a house where angels like to habitually reside, and where angels establish permanent residence, evil cannot establish itself. Not for a day, not for an hour, not for a single moment. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you had the absolute certainty that angels stand guard in the corners of your house. That celestial entities protect your family while you sleep peacefully. That divine presences automatically repel any negative influence that attempts to approach your home. That healing conversations happen naturally between family members. That financial problems find unexpected and miraculous solutions. That your children grow in an environment of real peace where their potential can flourish completely. This is not religious fantasy or wishful thinking. It's the concrete promise that Padre Pio made to all families who consecrated their homes correctly and with genuine faith. And now you need to understand the specific signs you will definitely perceive after performing this life-changing consecration. Because Padre Pio left nothing vague or uncertain. He was extremely specific about the results you should legitimately expect. The first sign, which happens invariably within the first 48 hours, you will feel a different peace in your home. A peace you haven't felt in a long time, a tranquility that is almost tangible. Some people describe it as a sensation of being embraced by a protective presence that is simultaneously powerful and gentle. This peace is not merely psychological, it is spiritual and real. It is the actual presence of Padre Pio beginning to establish residence in your home through the power of the consecration you performed. The second sign, manifesting within the first week. Family conflicts that seemed absolutely impossible to resolve begin to diminish naturally and effortlessly. It's not that problems disappear magically overnight, but the way you deal with them changes dramatically. There's more patience naturally, more understanding spontaneously, more love authentically. The harsh words that used to be spoken during arguments simply don't come out of your mouth anymore. The triggers that usually caused family explosions lose their power mysteriously. The family becomes more united, facing external challenges instead of fighting amongst themselves. The third sign, becoming evident within the first month. You will notice that your house becomes a place where people genuinely enjoy being. Visitors spontaneously comment about a wonderful, peaceful energy in the environment. Children prefer staying home rather than seeking entertainment elsewhere. The home truly becomes a refuge, a place everyone craves. Friends visiting start staying longer than planned. Family gatherings become more frequent and enjoyable. Even delivery people and service workers comment that they feel good working in your house. A positive energy becomes so strong. It affects everyone who enters. A third sign, which develops within the first 3 months. External problems affecting your family begin to resolve in completely unexpected and often miraculous ways. Financial issues linked to the house find solutions through opportunities no one anticipated. Problematic neighbors drastically change their behavior or move away. Negative influences simply drift away naturally, as if an invisible force repelled them. Legal problems that seemed impossible to resolve suddenly find solutions. Health issues troubling family members begin to improve. Professional opportunities arise out of nowhere. It's as if the universe itself begins to conspire in the family's favor. These signs, Padre Pio guaranteed with absolute confidence, are the definitive confirmation that the protection is actively working. They are the fingerprints of God, working powerfully in favor of the family that trusted in my intercession. But what if you don't notice these signs immediately? What if problems continue even after the consecration? What if you do everything correctly but don't see results fast enough? Padre Pio was absolutely realistic about this possibility. He knew that some situations require more time to resolve completely, especially when they involve serious addictions, deep betrayals, or more complex spiritual problems that developed over many years. The consecration is like planting a powerful seed, he explained with agricultural wisdom. Some seeds sprout rapidly because the soil is ready. Others need more time to germinate because the ground needs more purification first. But all seeds sprout eventually, if planted with genuine faith and adequate care. And for these more difficult and complex cases, he recommended an additional practice that dramatically amplifies the power of the original consecration. Every 23rd of each month for a full year, light a white candle in the main living area and say a specific prayer of gratitude and renewed supplication. Padre Pio, you should pray with deep gratitude and persistent faith. Thank you for the protection you have faithfully given to our home. I recognize your constant intercession even when I cannot see immediate results. Renew this protection powerfully. Strengthen this blessing continuously. Accelerate the solution of the problems we still face with confidence in your mercy. And here's something absolutely wonderful that demonstrates the infinite compassion of Padre Pio. He promised that families who maintain this monthly devotion will receive protection, not only for their current home, but for all the houses where they live in the future as well. A family truly faithful to my protection, he guaranteed with eternal authority, carries this blessing wherever they go throughout life. It's like a spiritual seal that accompanies them through their entire lives. Once under my protection, always under my protection. Now, before we proceed to the final elements of this transformative practice, I need to alert you about some important precautions, because every powerful spiritual practice has its proper guidelines that must be followed carefully to ensure safety and maximum effectiveness. First alert, which is completely normal and expected. After performing the consecration, it's normal to feel some spiritual resistance in the first few days. Small conflicts may arise temporarily. Some family members may become more irritated briefly. This is actually a positive sign that the negative forces are being expelled and resisting the change. When the divine light enters forcefully, Padre Pio explained with spiritual insight, darkness stirs violently before departing definitively. It's natural. It's necessary. It's temporary. It's proof that the protection is working effectively. This resistance usually lasts only a few days and then gives way to a deeper peace than what existed before. It's like a spiritual storm that clears completely to reveal a beautiful calm. Second alert, equally important. Maintain your faith steady, even if the results take longer than you initially expected. Some families need more profound spiritual purification before peace is established completely and permanently. Remember that you may be dealing with negative accumulations from many years or even decades. Some houses carry spiritual burdens that developed over generations. The healing process may be gradual, but will always be certain if you maintain faith and gratitude. Third alert, absolutely critical. Do not mix this practice with rituals from other spiritual traditions simultaneously. Padre Pio was completely clear about this important guideline. Christian protection works optimally when kept pure, without influences from other spiritual currents that may create confusion or conflicting energies. If you have been involved with other spiritual practices, suspend them temporarily for at least 40 days after performing Padre Pio's consecration. Let his protection establish itself completely before considering any other spiritual activities. And now comes a final promise that Padre Pio made to all families who perform this consecration with sincere faith and persistent devotion. On the day of final judgment, he promised with absolute authority and eternal commitment. I will personally intercede for each family that entrusted their house to my protection during their earthly life. I will be your advocate before the throne of God Almighty. And God never refuses the requests of those who carry his sacred wounds. Think about this profound promise carefully. The man who carried the wounds of Christ for 50 consecutive years, the man who suffered intensely for love of all humanity, the man who dedicated his entire life to the salvation of souls and the protection of families. This man promised to be your personal advocate in heaven. What greater guarantee could you possibly have for your family? What more powerful protection could you request for your loved ones? And now, in the silence of your sincere reflection, feel the presence of Padre Pio near you at this very moment. Feel the spiritual weight of this magnificent promise. Feel the magnitude of this divine protection that is being offered freely to your family. Your house can become a true sanctuary where heaven touches earth daily. Your family can live in real peace that surpasses all human understanding. Your children can grow spiritually protected from all evil influences. Your marriage can be strengthened by the divine power that flows through the intercession of a true saint. All of this is literally within your grasp right now. It can all begin next September 23rd, or even today, if you don't want to wait any longer to begin this transformation. Because ultimately, Padre Pio isn't just offering protection for your house as a building, he's offering complete transformation for your entire life as a family. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is exactly the answer you've been desperately seeking for problems that seemed absolutely impossible to solve through human efforts alone. The peace your soul desperately seeks may be just a few drops of holy water away from your reality. The protection your family urgently needs may be waiting only for your decision to trust in the one who carried the wounds of Christ out of love for humanity, for 50 years of intense suffering. And the complete transformation you so desire for your family can begin today. At this exact moment, when you decide to believe in the promise of a saint who never broke a single word during his entire earthly life. Because in the end of everything, it's not the physical walls that need protection. It's the precious hearts that dwell within them. And Padre Pio knows intimately each heart, loves deeply each heart, and protects eternally each heart that confidently surrenders itself into his hands, forever marked by the wounds of divine love that never fades. There is a tradition that the Church kept secret for decades, a practice so powerful that it transformed broken homes into sanctuaries of peace. And it all began with a man who carried the wounds of Christ in his hands. Have you ever felt that your house is no longer a refuge? That something invisible disturbs the harmony of your home? That no matter how much you pray, a strange unease lingers within the walls that should protect you? Today you will discover why September 23rd is not just another date on the calendar. It is the day when the veil between heaven and earth becomes thinner. The day when Padre Pio, even decades after his death, continues to bless the homes of those who know this secret. But before I reveal this ancient practice, I need to tell you something that will chill your soul. It was a cold September morning in 1968. At the convent of San Giovanni Rotondo, a man who had spent 50 years of his life carrying the bloody marks of the crucifixion was about to depart for eternity. Padre Pio knew his time had come. But in that last week, something extraordinary happened. Several devotees reported that he whispered a specific prayer, a prayer he asked to be repeated in all Catholic homes, a prayer accompanied by a simple ritual, but of immeasurable power. May each drop of holy water poured into the corners of this house be a shield against all evil, he said. May each corner become an invisible altar where my guardian angels keep eternal vigil. You may be wondering, why the corners of the house? Why there? The answer will surprise you. In the oldest spiritual tradition, the corners represent the meeting points between the material and the spiritual. They are like portals where energies accumulate. That's why you feel chills in certain corners of the house. That's why some children are afraid to sleep near certain corners. They feel what we adults have learned to ignore. Padre Pio understood this better than anyone during his mystical appearances. He always saw spiritual entities concentrating in the corners of the rooms, and he discovered that holy water, when strategically applied to these points, created a protective barrier that not even the darkest forces could penetrate. But there's more, much more. Did you know that Padre Pio predicted his own death? He knew he would leave on September 22nd, and he left specific instructions for his feast to be celebrated the following day, September 23rd. Because he knew that on this date his intercession would be more powerful. On the day of my feast, he told Friar Alberto, all homes that are consecrated with holy water will receive special protection. It will be as if I myself were walking through the rooms, expelling all evil. Now tell me something. Have you ever noticed how some houses have a heavy energy as soon as you enter? How some families, even if they are good people, live in constant conflict at home? How some homes seem to attract consecutive misfortunes? It's not coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's a lack of spiritual protection. Padre Pio knew this. He himself grew up in a house where strange phenomena constantly occurred. Unexplainable noises, objects moving on their own, presences that made themselves felt in dark corners. That's how he learned, as a child, the power of properly applied holy water. But the Church, for fear of superstitions, kept this practice secret. Only a few priests close to Padre Pio knew the exact details: how to do it, when to do it, which prayers to use. And here is the first secret that few know. Ordinary holy water does not have the same power as holy water consecrated specifically for the protection of the home. There is a difference that can determine whether your home will be a sanctuary or a spiritual battlefield. Padre Pio taught that holy water for the home must be consecrated with 3 specific intentions. First, protection against external negative influences. Second, purification of the energies accumulated inside the house. Third, creation of a permanent shield of family peace. When the water is blessed only with the traditional formula, it does have power, yes. But when it is consecrated with these 3 specific intentions, it becomes something completely different. It becomes a spiritual weapon. Now I'm going to tell you something that will change your perspective forever. In 1975, 7 years after the death of Padre Pio, an Italian family was living a true hell at home. The husband had become violent. The wife was constantly depressed. The children fought incessantly. Their financial situation plummeted month after month. Teresa, the mother of the family, was a devotee of Padre Pio. In despair, she remembered something her grandmother had told her about a special practice the saint performed. She obtained holy water, consecrated especially for the protection of the home, and on September 23rd, she applied a few drops to each corner of the house. What happened in the following weeks was considered a miracle by the local community. The husband, aggressive for months, suddenly started showing affection again, showering the family with kindness. Teresa's depression simply vanished. The children stopped fighting. They even started helping with chores, voluntarily. And to top it all off, the husband received a better job offer. Coincidence? Teresa thought so at first. until she discovered other families in the area had performed the same practice and gotten similar results. But here's the detail that makes all the difference. It's not just about placing holy water in the corners, it's how you place it. When you place it, and with what intention you place it, Padre Pio was extremely specific about this. The application must be done on the day of his feast, September 23rd, because on this day, his intercession is at its maximum. It must be done in every interior corner of the house, starting with the main living area and ending in the master bedroom. And it must be accompanied by a specific prayer. Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, you must say at each corner, protect this home from all evil. May your presence be felt in this environment. May your peace reign between these walls. May your protection be a shield against all negativity. And here comes something that will impress you even more. Padre Pio didn't just recommend this practice. He promised specific results for those who performed it with true faith. He promised that within 40 days, peace would be restored to the home, that family conflicts would drastically decrease, that financial problems related to the house would find a solution, that negative external influences would be blocked. 40 days, the same period Jesus spent in the desert, the same period Moses spent on Mount Sinai. It's not a coincidence. It's a sacred time of transformation. But you might be thinking, does this really work, or is it just superstition from desperate people? Let me tell you about Dr. Marco Andreotti, a psychiatrist from Rome. He was skeptical about religious practices. He considered it all popular superstition, until his own family started facing inexplicable problems at home. His teenage daughter developed panic attacks that only happened inside the house. His wife began having constant nightmares. He himself felt a strange oppression whenever he came home from work. The house had become a toxic environment, and he didn't understand why. An elderly patient, a devout follower of Padre Pio, suggested he perform the house consecration with holy water on September 23rd. He initially refused, but the situation was so unsustainable that he decided to try. What happened afterward left him perplexed. In 2 weeks, his daughter's panic attacks ceased completely. His wife's nightmares stopped. He himself began to feel peace when he arrived home again. As a doctor, he later wrote, I cannot scientifically explain what happened, but as a father and husband, I can attest that our home was transformed. And do you know what Dr. Andreotti's most surprising conclusion was? He discovered that the house had been built on an old cemetery, information the seller had hidden at the time of purchase. This brings us to a crucial point that Padre Pio always emphasized. Our homes absorb the energies of everything that happened there before us. Violent arguments leave energetic marks. Marital infidelities permeate the environment. Even deep sorrows are recorded in the walls. That's why some houses, even if beautiful and comfortable, never give us real peace. They carry the emotional weight of the past. The holy water applied to the corners, according to Padre Pio, not only protects against external influences, it purifies the accumulated energies of the past. It's like a spiritual reset of the environment. Each drop of holy water, he said, is like a tear from Christ himself falling on that space. And where the tears of Christ touch, all darkness dissipates. But there's something even deeper to all of this. Padre Pio taught that when we consecrate our home in this way, we are not just protecting a physical space, we are creating a sanctuary where our family can grow spiritually. We are establishing an environment where God's presence manifests more intensely. A consecrated home, he said, is a home where angels like to dwell, and where angels dwell, evil cannot take root. Think about your home now. Think about the conflicts that happen there, the worries that haunt you when you're at home, the lack of peace you sometimes feel even in your own home. Now imagine what it would be like to live in an environment where you feel the protective presence of Padre Pio, where every corner of the house is guarded by angels, where all negativity is blocked before it even enters. This is not fantasy. It's the promise Padre Pio made to all homes that are correctly consecrated on the day of his feast. And the most incredible thing is that you don't need to be a saint for this to work. You don't need perfect faith. You just need the sincere desire to protect your family and establish peace in your home. Padre Pio knew that most people have imperfect faith, full of doubts, full of fears. And that's why he simplified this practice to the maximum. He made it accessible to anyone, in any circumstance. God doesn't look at the perfection of our faith, he used to say. He looks at the sincerity of our heart. And here's something few know. The effectiveness of this practice is independent of the size of your home. It works the same in small apartments or large mansions. What matters is not the physical space. It's the spiritual intention. Padre Pio performed this consecration even in hospital rooms, in prison cells where he visited inmates, in any space where people needed protection and peace. Because in the end, we are not consecrating walls, we are consecrating lives. We are creating an environment where our family can flourish spiritually. But now comes the most important part of all this: how exactly to perform this consecration. What are the precise steps that Padre Pio taught, and why does every detail matter for the final result? First, you need to understand that there is a specific time to do this. It's not just any time on September 23rd. Padre Pio was very clear about this. The consecration must be done between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Do you know why? 3 p.m. is the hour of mercy, the hour when Jesus gave up his spirit on the cross. It is the moment of the day when the veil between heaven and earth becomes thinner. It's when our prayer has more power. It's when the intercession of the saints is more powerful. At this sacred hour, Padre Pio said, my prayers for homes unite with the prayers of Christ himself. And when two prayers unite in this way, they become irresistible to God's heart. But you might be wondering, what if I can't do this exactly at that time? What if I'm at work? What if I only discover this practice after September 23rd? Here's something wonderful. Padre Pio, in his infinite compassion, foresaw these situations. He taught that while September 23rd is ideal, the practice can be done any day afterward until October 2nd. The Feast of the Guardian Angels. The angels, he explained, are my collaborators in this mission of protecting homes. They honor any consecration made with sincere faith, even outside the ideal date. Now I'll teach you the exact step-by-step process. Mentally note each detail, because each one has a profound spiritual meaning. First step, you will need holy water. But pay attention. It's not just any holy water. It needs to be holy water specifically for the protection of the home. If you can't get this specific holy water, you can use regular holy water, but you must say a special prayer before using it. Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, you should pray, consecrate this water for the protection of my home. May it have the same power as the water you blessed in life. May each drop be a shield against all evil. Second step, you will start at the main entrance of the house. It doesn't matter if it's a door or a gate. The important thing is to start at the place where you and your family enter and leave every day. This is the most vulnerable point of the house, spiritually speaking. Place 3 drops of holy water on the right corner of the entrance, then 3 drops on the left corner, and while you do this, pray like this. Saint Pio, protect our entrance. May all evil be barred here. May only blessings enter this home. Why 3 drops? Because 3 represents the Holy Trinity. It represents divine perfection. It represents the sacred number that breaks all negativity. Third step, go to the main living area. This is the social heart of the house. It's where the family gathers. It's where important conversations happen. It's where family decisions are made. Consecrating this environment is fundamental to maintaining family harmony. Apply 3 drops to each corner of the room, always clockwise. Start with the corner closest to the entrance and follow the direction of the clock hands. In each corner, pray like this. Saint Pio, may our family live in peace in this environment. May our conversations always be of love. May our decisions always be wise. Fourth step, go to the kitchen. Padre Pio had a special devotion to the kitchens of homes, because that's where food is prepared with love. That's where the family is nourished. And he knew that when the kitchen is spiritually protected, even the food has more power to nourish and strengthen the family. Food prepared in a consecrated kitchen, he said, not only nourishes the body, it also nourishes the soul of the family. Apply holy water to the corners of the kitchen and pray. Saint Pio, bless the food that is prepared here. May it strengthen our family not only physically, but spiritually. May each meal be a moment of unity and gratitude. A fifth step, go to all the bedrooms in the house. Start with the master bedroom. This is the sanctuary of marital intimacy. It's where spouses rest together. It's where conjugal harmony is built or destroyed. Padre Pio knew that many family problems begin in the master bedroom. Arguments before bed, harbored resentments, lack of intimate dialogue. That's why he paid special attention to the consecration of this environment. A master bedroom, well protected spiritually, he taught, is a room where love grows instead of diminishing, where understanding replaces criticism, where forgiveness overcomes resentment. Apply holy water to the corners and pray like this. Saint Pio, protect our marital intimacy. May our love always be renewed in this environment. May our mutual understanding grow every day. May our forgiveness always be greater than our flaws. For the children's rooms, the prayer is different. Saint Pio, protect our children while they rest. May they have peaceful dreams. May they grow in wisdom and goodness. May they be guarded from all negative influence. Sixth step, don't forget the bathrooms. It may seem strange, but Padre Pio always included the bathrooms in the consecration. He understood that these are environments where we are alone, vulnerable, with our thoughts. And many times it is there that negative thoughts attack us with more force. Even in moments of greatest vulnerability, he said, we must be protected by divine grace. Seventh step, if your house has a backyard, porch, or any outdoor area, consecrate it as well. Padre Pio taught that protection should extend beyond the physical walls of the house. It should create a sacred perimeter around the entire property. A spiritually protected house, he explained, is protected inside and out, just as a castle has outer and inner walls. Now comes something very important. After doing the entire consecration, you must light a white candle in the main living area and pray the entire rosary. Why? Because the rosary seals the protection. It's like putting a divine seal on all the consecration you've just done. The rosary prayed after the consecration, Padre Pio taught, is like a heavenly signature on the protection contract established with God. During the rosary, meditate on each mystery, thinking about your family. In the joyful mysteries, give thanks for family joys. In the sorrowful mysteries, offer the difficulties your family faces. In the glorious mysteries, ask for eternal protection over your home. And here's a secret that few know. Padre Pio recommended that after the rosary, you let the candle burn completely. Don't extinguish it. Let it consume itself entirely. Because while the candle burns, Your prayer continues to ascend to heaven. Each flame is a prayer that does not fall silent, he said. It is a constant plea for the protection of the home. But now let me tell you something that will make you even more motivated to do this practice. In 2008, a family in the United States was going through a desperate situation. The eldest son had gotten involved with drugs. The daughter was pregnant at 16. The parents' marriage was on the brink. The house had become a constant battlefield. The Miller family, the mother, was a devotee of Padre Pio since childhood. In despair, she remembered this practice that her mother had taught her years before. On September 23rd, she did the entire consecration exactly as I am teaching you now. 30 days later, the son sought help to get rid of the drugs voluntarily. The daughter, even though pregnant, decided to finish her studies and proved to be a responsible mother. The family's marriage began to mend. A wonderful, peaceful energy filled their home. Their lives were transformed. The Millers' marriage not only survived, but thrived in a way they hadn't experienced in years. It was like a peace descended upon our home, Mary recounted later. A peace we could physically feel. It was as if Padre Pio himself was living with us. And you know what's most impressive? Their neighbors started noticing the difference. They commented that the Miller home had a different energy, that you felt peace just passing by, that the family had completely changed. This brings us to an important point. House consecration doesn't just benefit your family, it benefits the entire neighborhood, because a spiritually protected home radiates protection to neighboring homes. Padre Pio always said that each consecrated home was like a little church in the middle of the world, a point of light in the darkness, a haven of peace amidst the chaos. When we consecrate our home, he taught, we are not being selfish. We are being instruments of God to bring peace to the world, one family at a time, one neighborhood at a time. But there's something else you need to know, as this consecration isn't just for the present moment. It's a protection that automatically renews itself every year on September 23rd. That's right. You don't need to repeat the entire ritual every year. Simply renew your intention. Simply thank Padre Pio for the protection received and ask that it continue. A house once consecrated with true faith, Padre Pio promised, remains under my protection as long as the family maintains faith and gratitude. Now let me tell you about the signs you'll notice after doing this consecration, because Padre Pio left nothing vague. He was specific about the results you should expect. First sign. In the first 48 hours, you will feel a different peace at home, a tranquility you haven't felt in a long time. Some describe it as a feeling of being embraced by a protective presence. Second sign. In the first week, family conflicts that seemed impossible to resolve begin to diminish naturally. It's not that the problems magically disappear, but the way you deal with them changes. There's more patience, more understanding, more love. Third sign. In the first month, you'll notice that your home becomes a place where people enjoy being. Visitors comment on the good energy of the environment. Children prefer to stay home rather than go out. The home truly becomes a refuge. Fourth sign. In the first 3 months, external problems affecting your family begin to resolve in unexpected ways. Financial issues related to the house find a solution. Problematic neighbors change their behavior or move. Negative influences simply drift away. These signs, Padre Pio assured, are confirmation that the protection is active. They are the fingerprints of God working in favor of the family. But what if you don't notice these signs immediately? What if the problems continue even after the consecration? Padre Pio was realistic. He knew that some situations take more time to resolve, especially when they involve addictions, betrayals, or deeper spiritual problems. Consecration is like planting a seed, he explained. Some seeds sprout quickly, Others need more time to germinate, but all sprout if planted with true faith. For these more difficult cases, he recommended an additional practice. Every 23rd of each month, for a year, light a white candle in the main room and say a specific prayer of renewed thanksgiving and supplication. Padre Pio, you should pray. Thank you for the protection you have given our home. Renew this protection. Strengthen this blessing. Speed up the solution to the problems we still face. And here's something wonderful. Padre Pio promised that families who maintained this monthly devotion would receive protection not only for their current home, but for all the homes where they would live in the future. A family faithful to my protection, he guaranteed, carries this blessing wherever they go. It's like a spiritual seal that accompanies them through life. Now, before I finish, I need to warn you about some important things, because every powerful spiritual practice has its precautions. First warning. After doing the consecration, it's normal to feel spiritual resistance in the first few days. Small conflicts may arise. Some family members may become more irritable temporarily. This is a sign that negative forces are being expelled and resisting change. When the light enters, Padre Pio explained, the darkness stirs before it leaves. It's natural, it's necessary, it's temporary. Second warning, maintain faith even if the results take longer than expected. Some families need deeper spiritual purification before peace is fully established. Third warning, do not mix this practice with rituals from other spiritual traditions. Padre Pio was clear about this. Christian protection works best when kept pure, without influences from other spiritual currents. And here is the final promise that Padre Pio made to all families who performed this consecration with sincere faith. On Judgment Day, he promised, I will personally intercede for every family that entrusted their home to my protection. I will be your advocate before the throne of God. And God does not refuse the requests of those who carry his wounds. Think about it. The man who carried the wounds of Christ for 50 years, the man who suffered for love of humanity, the man who dedicated his entire life to the salvation of souls. This man promised to be your personal advocate in heaven. What greater guarantee could you have for your family? And now, in the silence of your reflection, feel the presence of Padre Pio near you. Feel the weight of this promise. Feel the magnitude of this protection that is being offered freely to your family. Your home can become a sanctuary. Your family can live in real peace. Your children can grow up spiritually protected. Your marriage can be strengthened by divine power. All this is within your reach. All this can begin on the next September 23rd, or even today if you don't want to wait, because in the end, Padre Pio is not just offering protection for your house. He is offering transformation for your entire life. And maybe, just maybe, this is the answer you've been looking for to the problems that seemed impossible to solve. The peace you seek may be only a few drops of holy water away. The protection your family needs may be waiting for your decision to trust in the one who carried the wounds of Christ for the love of humanity. And the transformation you so deeply desire can begin today. This very moment, the instant you choose to believe in the promise of a saint who never broke a single word. Because in the end, in the very end, it's not the walls that need protection, it's the hearts that dwell within them. And Padre Pio, he knows each heart, he loves each heart, and he protects every heart that surrenders trustingly into his hands, hands marked by the wounds of divine love. Those sacred wounds, a testament to the ultimate sacrifice, a beacon of hope for those who seek refuge in his unwavering grace. His protection isn't just a physical shield. It's a spiritual embrace, a comforting presence that banishes fear and welcomes peace. It's the unwavering light of faith, pushing back the shadows of doubt and despair. It's the strength of 1,000 angels, surrounding and shielding those who call upon him. It's a love so profound, so unconditional, that it heals the deepest wounds, mending broken hearts and restoring shattered souls. This is the power of Padre Pio's blessing. A blessing that transforms not just houses, but lives. It's a legacy of faith, a promise kept, a testament to the enduring power of divine intervention, a miracle waiting to unfold within the walls of your home and within the chambers of your heart. Receive this grace, embrace this peace, allow yourself to be transformed.